guys are having an amazing day. Make sure to give this video a like and to subscribe because I will be posting more videos this year and I'm very excited about that. Anyway, it's time to get on with the video. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the habits I'm having in 2023, and I thought these would be some good ideas for you guys to try out if you want to have a more productive lifestyle in 2023. A lot of people set their goals or their habits that they're planning to have at the beginning of the year, and they do them for about 3 weeks or a month, and then they give up. So I was like, this would be a good time to post this video so I can motivate you to keep going on with your goals, and these habits can help you achieve those goals. I read some books to give me good ideas of things to do and how to set goals and habits that lead to achieving your goals. So I'm excited to share them with you. I'll put it up on the screen. Those books really help me understand why it's important to have good habits, because the habits you have will help you achieve your goals or not achieve your goals if you have bad habits. And then the goals that you're achieving help you achieve your dreams. And so I think it's really important that what we do every single day can change your life. It might not seem like it, but in the long run, it does. So I'm going to start off with kind of the physical type of goals, and I wrote them all down so that I don't forget any. The first one is working out 4 to 5 times a week or exercising. It can seem like such an obvious one that people would want to have, but it honestly does make me feel way better. I have more energy. You are toning up, you are getting more muscular. That's not the only reason why I'm doing it. It just feels a lot better. It's good for you. You're moving your body. And also with that, I make sure I stretch every day too, because if you're working out and stuff and exercising and then you don't stretch afterward, you can get really sore and stiff, and it can then not be fun. So make sure to stretch, and I do this every day, even the days I don't work out. It helps me stay flexible, and I just feel a lot better. I feel like I can really move around. Along with that one is going outside and going on walks, because it is so good for you to go outside. The sunlight, the vitamin D, and getting outside in nature, or even playing with your pet, or jumping on a trampoline, or playing with your siblings, or just practicing a sport. Whatever it is so good to go outside. Whenever I'm done, I always feel so much better when I come inside. I feel refreshed and ready to do the rest of my stuff that I have to do. Kind of going with that one as well, this would also be in the physical category, is getting 10,000 steps a day, which is equivalent to 5 miles. And that is a good goal to have if you don't always have time to do a longer walk or workout. Even if you do have time to do that, it still is a good goal to have. I try to do this the days where it's your rest day and you're not working out or exercising really, because you want to still make sure you are moving your body. Drink at least a certain amount of water every day. To figure out what amount of water you should be getting, you take your weight and you divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces you should be getting. At least that much. This one goes with drinking water because it's kind of the same thing, is having a balanced, healthy diet. Basically, what I try to do to help me make sure that I'm having enough nourishing foods and that I'm not eating too many sweets is at the beginning of the day, or just throughout the day, I make sure I'm getting enough of what I need, enough of protein, enough of veggies or carbs or whatever it is. And once I have enough of that, I can have a piece of chocolate or whatever it is. Because I eat the stuff that my body needs, I'm not that hungry. Balance is key. Don't stress out about it, because you don't want it to become a bad thing that you're so oh, I don't want to eat too much of that and I want to stay skinny. That is not a good mindset to have. So I make sure I'm enjoying the sweet food or the junk food that I have, but also making sure I'm giving myself enough of nourishing foods. The next habit I have is to journal / write every day, so then you can look back and see everything that's happening. And if you kind of want to document your life and you want to make memories, or you want to remember the memories you had, it is a lot of fun to look back and see what you wrote. And also journaling for just your mental health and writing down your thoughts and just clarity. And also if you're praying and you easily get distracted, I think it's a good thing to write out your prayers or journal your prayers and just kind of your thoughts, writing out your thoughts to God basically. Any type of journaling is good for your mind and for your mental health, or like bullet journaling if you want to be creative, and also planning out your day, your week, your to-do list. The next habit is listening to upbuilding messages every day, so you're filling your mind with good stuff. In the mornings, if I work out or something like that, or I'm getting ready, I listen to a podcast that's upbuilding, and there's all kinds of Christian motivational podcast type stuff, success, all that stuff that you can find like on Spotify or whatever other platform you use to listen to music, or the podcast app if you have Apple. That's usually what I do because I want to make sure I'm putting good stuff in my mind, and I always feel a lot better when I listen to positive, upbuilding stuff, especially in the morning, and it just kind of helps me feel motivated and like I want to do my stuff. It's a habit that a lot of successful people have. If you want to make sure you're doing your best or staying disciplined and you want motivation for that and insight, it's really good to listen to that kind of stuff and learn more. The next one that I have is getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night. You heard me. This one, I don't struggle with it, but I think a lot of people do, and it honestly does make a big difference if you're getting enough sleep. You feel so much better. At least for me, I feel way better if I get enough sleep than if I don't. Especially if you're an athlete or if you're working out and stuff, it does help you way more than you realize. You're resting, it helps your muscles and just everything. It is so important to get enough sleep. So try to get 8 hours a night, and it might be hard at first if you're not used to that. Gradually adding more and more until you are to 8 hours. And I have 8 to 9 for me because I tend to need more than 8 hours to feel my best. I try to get at least 8 hours. It's kind of finding what is right for you, but trying to get at least 8 hours is good. The next habit I have is making your bed and cleaning up after yourself. That sounds so simple and easy, but so many people don't do it, and there's so many times where you're in a rush where you're like, oh, I can do that later, like if you slept in or something and you're running late. But I try to do this every single day. Once it's a habit, once you do it for a little while, soon you just do it without thinking. I get out of bed, make my bed, and then what I usually do is in the mornings, or actually it's more in the evenings before I go to bed, is when I make sure my room is cleaned up. I try to clean up and make sure my stuff's all cleaned up before I go to bed, and then I wake up in the morning and I'm like, yes, my room's all clean, and I feel so much better. And if your space is all cluttered, then your mind feels cluttered, and if you have a clean room, you usually have more of a clean mind. Another one is reading at least 20 minutes every day. And for some people, this might seem so overwhelming because you're not a reader, or maybe you never even really tried just reading outside of school. I am a reader and I enjoy reading, and I think once you find books you love, things that you're interested in, it can be a lot of fun. And if you're not into books that are hard to read and that you don't understand, there are books that are more simpler and that are easier to understand. And for me, the books that I try to read at least 20 minutes of are upbuilding books, Christian books, positive success, self-help type of books. First start with more fun book, and then like go into more books where you're learning things. It wasn't always super easy for me at first, just till I got used to doing it and being in the habit, and it has made a difference. I've learned a lot more. I still read fun books like mystery books, but I try to make sure I first read like 20 minutes of a good upbuilding book. I usually do that in the evening because I don't have enough time in the morning. The second to the last one is having my daily devotions, my prayer, Bible reading, worship, etc. I'm a Christian, and so that is one of my top priorities, is spending time with God and learning more about Him and His Word and becoming a better person through that. And usually I try to do it in the mornings, 20 to 30 minutes usually. I'm not saying you have to read your Bible every day, but if you're a Christian, it says in God's Word that we should be reading and meditating on His Word daily. So I think it is important to do that. Sometimes you might miss a day, but it's not like God is going to be angry with you if you miss a day. He's gracious and he's so excited when you do talk with him, and having a relationship with him is so cool and is amazing. So that brings me to my last habit, and that is having a screen time limit. Yeah, the average person spends about 7 hours on their phone a day, which just like kind of blows my mind. I think it's crazy. Mostly what I use my phone for is the basic things you do, but I definitely, over the summer especially, I was on it way more than I should have been. What I've done that does help me with not being on social media and stuff as much is I have screen time limits, and I'm not necessarily talking about the Apple ones. I do have those. Most of the time, let's be honest, if you have those, you don't even go through with it. You can just press ignore limit. And if you get so used to just pressing that all the time, then it's like there's no limit there. An app that I got is called Opal. It's OPAL, and it's like a VPN and blocks your apps for a certain time. If you're like, I don't want to be on my phone right away when I wake up, I'm going to wait till this time, but then it's hard to actually wait till that time. You can set it up that it has those apps blocked until that time. You can have limits like only this certain amount of time, and then the app shuts down and you can't go on it at all. And so that is really nice because that does help a lot. I encourage you to try limiting your screen time down. Honestly, you will feel way better when you're not on it all the time. And I try not to be on it when I wake up in the morning. So 30 minutes before I go on, an hour before I'm going to bed, I have it on wind down, so it just turns off everything. Those are all of my habits, and if you can't tell, I am a morning person, so I do most of this stuff in the morning. If you would like to try some of these out, which I encourage you to, you don't have to do them in the morning if that doesn't hold out with your schedule. You can do it any time of the day, but personally I think it works out better if you do it in the mornings because then you have your stuff done or most of the habits that you want to incorporate. What I would recommend to do is every single month you can add a new habit. Actually, all these habits will go about up to 12, so every month you can add one, and then by the end of the year you could be doing all of these habits. Hopefully this video helped you and encouraged you. I am excited for the new year and for things to come, so make sure to subscribe down below and check out the books I mentioned earlier. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye!